try out different styles and figure it out from there. Don't listen to the mass media and all the labeling they put on everything. Just do your own thing. The bottom line is, when you're trying to grow food, just grow it the way you want to grow it. I haven't had a single year where I could say my garden has been an absolute success. Welcome back to Hidden Oaks Homestead. We are in the garden, but we have to be out here super early or super late into the day. We're going through a heat wave right now with record highs and temperatures around 100 degrees, and it's just not pretty out here during the day. There is no way I'm gonna get any work done in that heat. With that said, we have a couple of good hours early in the morning, right around 5:30 to about 8, maybe even 9. And then once the sun starts setting at the end of the day, right around 6, 7 o'clock, you can get some work done out here without dying of heat exhaustion. Make sure you hydrate too when you're out in the garden in this heat. The gardening I'm doing this year is very much all over the place. I have things in the ground, I have things in raised beds, and really when it comes to growing food, I do not operate or follow any certain style or certain labels. All I'm worried about in my garden is that things grow as much as possible, as healthy as possible, and with the least possible maintenance from my side. So I'm working with raised beds, I'm working with in-ground garden, I'm working with trellises, and I have a little bit of everything. We don't have the best ground here in Florida, so the raised beds do work out really well, but for some crops, in-ground gardening just works better, such as sweet potatoes, the okra grows really well in the ground, the roselle grows really well, corn does really well. So there are certain things that I don't need raised beds for, but certain things that just simply do better in raised beds around here. I got a volunteer pea, look at that. And the reason I say that I'm not using any labels or calling my garden any specific label is because there are so many things out there. And I have people getting in touch or commenting. It's like, well, why don't you do this and that? Why don't you try Back to Eden? Why don't you try permaculture? Why don't you try this and that? The simple fact is I'm trying to just grow food with as simple of a method as possible and to try to produce the healthiest crop that I can for my family and for my animals. I guess you could call it organic gardening for rebels, maybe, if you want to put a label on it. But we're doing raised beds, so we're doing container gardening. We're doing in-ground, which is an organic garden that is fertilized with biomatter from our animals. So I guess that's kind of, I don't know what we want to label it. Then you've got the Back to Eden gardening method, which is using a lot of wood chips. So we do that too. So I guess you could call it Back to Eden. What else is out there? Permaculture, which focuses on permanent culture, so interaction of annual and perennial plants, trees, and such. And well, we're doing that too. So I guess we're doing a little bit of everything. And the bottom line is, when you're trying to grow food, just grow it the way you want to grow it. Grow it the way you can grow it at the knowledge level you have. And just know that being a gardener means you're going to plant a lot of plants, you're going to harvest a lot, but you're also going to learn and kill a lot of plants on the way. I haven't had a single year where I could say my garden has been an absolute success. There have been parts of my garden that were successes, and there have been parts of my garden that were absolute failures. Cats. And that's just the way it is. The one thing that I've learned gardening is you can't give up. try it again, try it in a different way, figure out how your land works, see what you have to work with and what actually grows. So one of the things that I've been doing over the years is definitely move into a direction where I grow things that naturally grow well here. Sweet potatoes grow really well here. Sweet potatoes has not been a crop that I was looking to grow or that I had as part of my diet. It's just not something that I grew up with, but it's an acquired taste. So for us now, we do like sweet potatoes and we do grow them because they grow really well here. Another thing is okra. Okra grows really well here. We tried it the second year of gardening here. It grew great. We had a lot of okra. None of us knew anything about okra, how to prepare it, when to best harvest it. So it was a little bit of trial and error there. We let a lot of it go to seed. We let a lot of it go too big, which it doesn't taste very good once it gets to a certain size. And we learned to harvest early. And it's a really great crop when you harvest it early. It's a really great vegetable to eat, to cook with, and that's what we adjusted to. Beans grow great around here. Kale grows great around here. Spinach, not so much. Spinach is more of a winter crop around here. And these are just things that we have learned along the way in a couple of years of gardening here in Florida in zone 8B. It's really hot, it's really humid, and some of the more thought after summer crops are just not going to do well here in the summer. When I'm talking about tomatoes, I've had more failures with tomatoes than anything else, but we're getting there. Every year that we grow tomatoes, the varieties that make it, we save seeds from. And our friend David over at his channel, David the Good, Survival Gardening, he talks about it all the time. Save the seeds of the plants that actually grow because they have adjusted to your climate. They obviously want to grow and they will grow again next year when you plant them out. So that's what we've been doing and we've seen some success. I was not very confident in saving seeds when I first started this, but there's nothing to it. You just save them, keep them in a dry and dark place, and then you seed them out. And if you don't have a lot of success sprouting them, just try again. We've had a lot of success with beans. We've had a lot of success with flowers. I'm going to do lots of peppers and tomatoes again this year to see how they then come out next year. And it's going to be a work in progress for us here in Florida. But the end of the story here is don't give up. Don't buy into all the labels. Don't try to do it this way or that way because that is the label of our time right now. Everybody needs to do this, everybody needs to do that. Do what works for you. Try out different styles. See what works for your land, for where you are, how much space you have, and figure it out from there. Don't listen to the mass media and all the labeling they put on everything. Just do your own thing and you'll be just fine. This year we've already harvested a bunch of tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, loofahs. We got lots of herbs growing, but in this heat we have to be really careful because I have not taken the time to put up shade cloth and the sun is scorching. So I'm trying to maintain as much as I can without a shade cloth because I haven't had the time yet, and I really need to get that up for next year to do better with some of the vegetables that are a little bit more prone to heat damage. So keep doing what you're doing. Grow some food. Grow what you enjoy. Grow flowers and add some color to your garden and make it a place where you want to be.